Recently, I got to paint up one of my favorite things, and it's really weird. What's it gonna be? Giant monster? Evil robot? Gazgul Thraka? Nope. It's Queen Amidala from The Phantom Menace, probably my favorite Star Wars. Not most people's favorite, but it's definitely the one I've seen the most times, and I love the Queen's outfits. I studied costume design in college, and so I have a soft spot for big, crazy costumes, and I never thought I would see Phantom Menace Amidala in miniature form for a war game, but Shatterpoint has given me that opportunity with Amidala, Sabe, and the Handmaidens. And it was such a fun dose of nostalgia to paint these up. And the miniature wargaming world is giving me another great opportunity for some nostalgia with the Geonosian Warriors from Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Not my favorite Star Wars, but the stuff in that movie is really, really cool, and the Geonosian Warriors is top of that list. Designed by one of my all-time favorite artists, Terrell Whitlatch, the gal behind Jar Jar Binks. I had a great time reliving being 5 with Queen Amidala. It is time to relive being 7 with the Geonosis Warriors. And today is January 1st, 2024. I would love to get this box done in one day, start the year off strong. I love the smell of fresh plastic. These warriors seem to be based on the Clone Wars design, which probably works better for tiny minis. They're more exaggerated in their shapes and details than the rust-colored cockroach Tinkerbells from the movie. Star Wars Legion recently changed up its box art, so now it's a physical picture of the actual minis, but I kinda miss the really cool artwork of the actual thing on the front of the box. I thought it looked really slick. And I guess it does make more sense to just show you what you physically get, but I kinda miss the old box design. Let me know in the comments below which one you prefer. One thing I know I don't like about the new boxes is there's no directions in them. Instead, I have to scan a QR code to bring me to the website where the instructions are. Wow, it does not even take you to the thing. How do you spell Geonosis? Search. Star Wars Legion has come a long way with its minis. The first wave stuff was all soft PVC, but now they're all shiny plastic. A slightly harder plastic than Games Workshop, which makes it a little harder to scrape with a knife. I find sanding twigs work great for knocking down mold lines, and man, are these little buggers tiny. You get 3 unique flying poses and 2 pairs of walking warriors, and they're pretty monopose, although they are pretty much just battle droids. I bet you could swap the parts around and get some more unique poses out of this box, and I intend to. This will not be my only set of Geonosian Warriors. The game Star Wars Legion is broken into 4 factions, Rebels and Empire, Clones, and Battle Droids. I have a lovely Rebel and Empire army, and these guys will be the basis of my droid army. And I've been thinking about a basing scheme. There's a lot of lovely Star Wars planets, but I think I gotta go with Geonosis. A little bit of a trickier planet to pull off, but I got a plan. For these bases, there could only be one way to pull off the mountains and spires. Say it with me now, epic basing bits. I'm using sandstone landscapers and stalagmites to pull off this fictional Martian landscape. I glued down the flat pieces and made sure there was room for my buggies. On about half of the bases, I added some stalagmites, and then it was time to smooth out the bases. I used milliput in between the bits to blend them in, and with my sculpting tool, I was able to replicate the ridges of the bits. Geonosis is very windswept, so it's a combination of exposed rock and sand. And speaking of that sand, I used some wood glue to stick down sand on anywhere that doesn't have a basing bit. My Geonosian Warriors are all ready for painting, and it's fun to have Geonosian Warriors again. I had a Geonosian action figure growing up, and I'm sure some of you guys remember this action figure. It came in a 2-pack with Anakin Skywalker, and it was a Geonosian who just got lightsabers. So it was a normal action figure, but it had 3 cuts in it, and you could very carefully peg them together, and then with the slightest breeze, he would fall apart. Kind of violent, but it was really fun to play with. These guys took most of the day to put together. Building and basing always takes such a long time, but I feel like painting is gonna be a breeze, because these guys are gonna take speed paint and contrast paint like a dream. I primed my insects black and then did a base coat of light pastel green. It's hard to tell what color Geonosians actually are. They seem to be slightly reflective, but there is for sure some green in there. And I sprayed a light tan from above like a zenithal. Because these dudes are natural and naked, I don't want a white zenithal highlight. White zennies look really good on things like armor and robots, but not so good on natural stuff. Now, I eventually want to dunk these guys in contrast paint, but I have to do my base coats first. But you know, it's always ready for a good dunkin'. That's right, our Patreon. We have monthly terrain packs. This month is the Crash Spaceship. the wrecked bones of an impressive Gothic vessel that your armies can fight over in narrative-driven games. And if you always want to be up to date on the goings-on here at EonsBattle and be entered into our monthly giveaways, this month we're picking 3 followers to receive this month's terrain. Follow the link in the description below to sign up to our newsletter. I picked out the wings with some green paint, watered down so that the little veins of their wings will still show through, and I did a dry brushing of white to bring out the details in their face and segmented body parts. It's a little hard to tell, but these guys do actually wear clothing. I painted their necklace, horn things, and skirt with red-brown. These parts will become gold later on, and I threw this color over their sonic guns as well. Once my brown base coats were applied, I painted an earth color over top to highlight the details and get them closer to golden color. On the tips of the horns, I added some tan paint to make them look extra pointy, and although lore accurate, I probably could have skipped picking out their shirts with blue paint, because it got drowned out by the next step, the contrast paint. I mixed Agro's Dunes and Lamian Medium 50-50 and had my Plaguebearer flesh standing by. I slobbered this over everything, making each Geonosian about 50% brown wash, 50% green wash. This variety will make them look like natural living creatures. The contrast paint gave me my color, but I would still like the recesses to look a little sharper. I watered down some Agras Earthshade and put this over my soldiers as well, and you know what? I think I nailed the box art. They're looking perfect. Episode 2 will always hold a special place in my heart because it is the first movie I saw on shiny DVD. Phantom Menace was all VHS, but my grandpa had a DVD player and he got me for Christmas Attack of the Clones. Oh, and I remember taking it out of that clamshell in the bright, shiny disc. Special features. It was quite a time. But speaking of time, it is now time for my favorite part, highlighting. I mixed the browns on my palette with white paint to brighten them up, and I used this to highlight their weapons. And I finally get to apply that gold. I dry brushed Army Painter gold over the clothing, only covering about 1/3 in gold, but because all the colors match, it just looks like some really nice contrasty gold, instead of solid glittery gold. Then I picked out their jewels with red. Much like the 40k Eldar, the Geonosians also wear shiny little eggs into battle. Now for those eyes. Everyone knows the bad aliens look the ugliest, and for ugly eyes, black with one creepy dot of white in the middle makes a face only a mother could love. To make the planet Geonosis, I found some colors that were decently rusty while being even more colorful than the movie. I painted on a rusty red color, doing my best to keep it off their toes. This was much easier on the flying guys. Then I watered down a magenta red. A proper red would have been a little bit more accurate to the movie, but I love magenta and I really want color saturated bases. So this hint of magenta will make these bases look more striking. And to add just a little more strike, I dry brushed orange over the bases to pick out the sand and striations of the rock. I am in love with these buggers. The dull green bodies standing on the rock and roll red bases looks magical. But the question is, what about those base rims? The old battle droids came with navy blue bases. Actually, each faction had its own color, and I really like the idea of color-coded factions. For all my Star Wars Legion models, I have been carefully leaving the base rims intact and unpainted. And I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the world to do this. Everyone else on the planet paints the rim of the base, which is probably why everything comes with plain gray bases now. But you know what? I'm sticking with it. Ride or die, navy base rims. 7 Geonosian Warriors, all done. I really like that Star Wars Legion has squads of about 4 to 6. I get them done so much faster than 40k's 5 to 10. And it's usually 10. But now that I have these guys done, I have a really hard decision to make about my droid army. My Geonosis Warriors are done and set on Geonosis, but I have 2 other units in my fledgling droid army. And they don't match, and that is a problem for me. It shouldn't be, because they're droids and they're the correct colors, but they're a little bit anachronistic. The Stab Speeders, one of my favorite Star Wars ships, are the Naboo Stab Speeders, my favorite Star Wars movie, so of course I painted them the brown color. But if they're on Geonosis, I feel like they really either should be unpainted or they should be painted in the navy blue of the CIS army. And I have a squad of B1s finished that actually I'm not overly happy with. I went a little too hard on them. They look really good up close, but from a distance, they kind of just look dark. Now, this army is gonna be big, so maybe I just, put these guys on eBay and get rid of them and start fresh with some Geonosis red battle droids. But man, I don't know what to do with these Stabs. I love them. They're painted like perfectly. But they're wrong. They're the wrong colors. do I just suck it up and be happy with them? Do I also eBay these guys and just start fresh and have them all perfectly on Geonosis? Or do I just say that this is taking place on the second Battle of Geonosis, where everything is finished and painted and has been brought back to the planet Geonosis for the fighting? I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll just keep painting more Geonosian Warriors and more new things, and I'll just let that decision stew for a while. But I'm really, really happy with these Geonosian Warriors. They're so much fun. They look so good on the red planet. And I'm really excited to start my droid army. Thanks for watching.